This is the Simulation Football League, presented by 8 p.m. Music on YouTube. With only 3 games to go in Season 19 of the SFL, both Carolina and Sioux Falls still have the playoffs dead in their sights. With both teams coming off their final bye week, who hits the home stretch in stride? Will it be the Skyhawks looking to get back on track to winning ways? Or will it be the Sparrows as they attempt to seize the advantage in that log-jammed Central Division? We have at least 4 quarters of football to find out. Hello folks, I'm Tyler Falk. Welcome inside Liberty Park as we get set for this Week 12 matchup. I'm pleased to be joined by my broadcast partner, Brett Solberg. Brett, as we approach the end of this season, a single moment can alter the course of one's playoff race. What do Carolina and Sioux Falls have to do tonight to get the victory?
If you are a student of the Eddie Gage or Axel Raven School of Hard Knocks, you are going to love this game. Both these teams are defensively sound. We're talking about Carolina's second best pass defense, whereas Sioux Falls has the second best points allowed, under 18 points per game. My key to this game is which offense is going to step up. We know about Sioux Falls' 7th best pass D offense, but is Marcus Duncan going to do something? A balanced offense means a great team, and that's what separates Sioux Falls from the rest of the team. That's for Carolina. They need to show something offensively in terms of points. They need to score more than 25 if they are going to get themselves a victory here.
In a matchup history that I've seen the winner score at least 30, we are expecting a pretty seismic contest between the Skyhawks and Sparrows. It'll be the visiting Skyhawks to kick us off, led by kicker Whistle Jones, back deep to return as AJ Levy. And here we go from the prairies in South Dakota. Levy makes a nice move at his 20-yard line and brings it up to the 26 before being stopped. And that'll introduce you to the Sioux Falls Sparrows signal caller, Julian Tyree, who ranks second in almost every single category all time.
Yeah, and he's doing a pretty good job so far this season. Speaking of second place, he's second in pass completions, and he's top 10 in a lot of quarterback statistics as well.
QBR, least interceptions thrown, completion percentage. He's done a very nice job for his Sparrows this season as he looks outside for his first pass, looking for a lineman out there on the left-hand side. That's Cooper Colston, and that's why he plays lineman.
Yeah, how interesting do you see that a lineman kind of lines up as a second tight end in this set, and you see him kind of line up on that left side as a flats option. You know, sometimes you got to be ready for that, and he wasn't ready for that flats catch. Just, you know, it happens.
Single back set here on second down, maybe a more traditional play coming out of these Sparrows. Another passing play, deep shot left side as Tyree looked to take a shot. Nearly had K. Marion on that corner route. The hit jars the ball free, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, and this is what you should expect from the Julian Tyree-based offense with K. Marion. She is the deep threat dynamo on this Sparrow squad. She's going to go out with those deep post corner go routes as far as possible, and she's going to try to get those catches. Great job to adjust by Carolina.
Now a formation we've only recently seen more and more of this season, the 5-wide set coming out of Sioux Falls as Tyree looks over the middle, and another hit going to deflect that pass. Michael Knight, the intended target, and it's 3 and out from this Carolina Skyhawks defense.
And there's that passing defense that we see from Carolina kind of stepping in here, which has been all effective. Just 236 yards allowed per game, and Tyree's going to have a tough time against this secondary that has tons of pass deflections this season.
Sammy Prefontaine, the punter for Sioux Falls, gets an early call to the field to go ahead and begin his work. Punts it away for Tony Zoma inside his own 40-yard line and will be corralled at that 40-yard line as Matt South will take to the field. It's not been a too great of a season for the signal caller, again seeing his interception total reach close to 30 again this season.
Yeah, but this Carolina team likes to use that running back core, and they've done pretty well with that split set between Pseudo Nakai and Hattori Hanzo. Expect that first play to be a run.
Early flag as the pass is outside, incomplete, intended for Zoma, the return man. Incomplete. Let's get the call from R62.
Neutral zone infraction, number 50, defense, 5-yard penalty.
That's Biff Markham, the defensive end, being a little jumpy on his first play of the ball game.
Yeah, and Biff Markham is, one of the defensive stalwarts, one of the guys that I think of first when I think of Sioux Falls defense. He's spent all of his time in the SFL with Sioux Falls and, getting a little jumpy here early to start things off, trying to make a response after Carolina's defense did really well. You just got to, stay disciplined in these early stages.
We're on 1st and 5 now after the penalty. A 3 tight end set as Sioux Falls stack the box with 9 men in the box. Handoff up the middle goes to the fullback, Hattori Hanzo, for a short pickup as we introduce you to the rest of that Skyhawks offense. Suda Nakai and Hattori Hanzo are the tailback and fullback respectively. Sam Avalis, Tony Zoma, and Harish Prasad are the wideouts. Vince DeSantis leads the tight end core along with Rylan Caudill on the line at left guard. 2nd and 4, handoff again goes to Hanzo. This time a little bit more progress made. It'll be 3rd and 1 from midfield.
And for anyone who's watching the Skyhawks for the first time this season, you're going to notice they're going to hand it off to the fullback a lot more often. As so far this season, comparisons for carries, Hanzo coming in with 115 to Suda Nakai's 101.
Just over 150 yards more Hanzo has on the ground this season other than Nakai. Again, they go with Hanzo, the 3rd straight play, and it's the Skyhawks who are unable to come up with the first down as he is taken down at the line of scrimmage, 4th down.
Yeah, and that's what Sioux Falls does well defensively. They're just well balanced as a whole defensively. 8th in passing yards allowed. They're going to go for 4th down here possibly.
Offense does trot back to the line. South under center. Doesn't look like he's going to try a hard card. Looks like he might try and snap this one. No.
Oh, wow.
He will call a timeout, an early timeout in the play, and that'll bring on the punting team for Sioux Falls.
What I found interesting from all that is that South and the crew basically came in on like a mid-hurry offense on that 4th down. They came in pretty quickly on that formation.
Didn't seem like they were too entirely confident either going forward or calling that timeout, and that's why we saw them call a timeout midway through that play. Is now the punting team is on for Skyhawks. Malone Brown is the punter. He stands at his own 34-yard line. Punt is on its way to A.J. Levy. He's going to back away from this one, takes a Carolina bounce, and that's going to be an excellent punt for Brown. That is down at the 2-yard line, and it's the Skyhawks who have done an excellent job on special teams. Sioux Falls is going to have to dig themselves out of this early hole.
Yeah, and Carolina, after a good defensive stand, didn't get anything offensively, but a good response with a poor drive, you could say, is pinning them back and forcing them to go 98 yards to the end zone. Sioux Falls, here's your first test of the game.
On a split back set. Tyree going to look for an out route near side. Caught by A.J. Warren for a nice pickup at 9. That'll see them exit the shadow where they're going posts.
Yeah, and it looks like Sioux Falls is going to continue to pass their way there. Tyree had 51 passing attempts in his last game against Charleston. They ended up winning by 13, 29-16. So I think they might continue going with that passing ways as Tyree continues to sling that rock.
It's a QB sneak up the middle, and that's good enough for a first down. Liking to throw a little bit of trickery into the playbook. The Sparrows, they are known for that QB sneak throughout their entire franchise history, and it works on that play.
Yeah, and when it comes to a second and short situation, even if it's like, a yard or two, they know that Tyree has the legs to at least get them that 2 yards necessary to get that first down. Great call made.
Back to wide receiver set here on first down. Another pass as Tyree looks down the near sideline and is hauled in by Noe Terrazas. A huge gain of about 30.
Yeah, and that's got to be a big weight off his shoulders right away for Terrazas. He only had 2 receptions in that game against Charleston for 29 yards. And in this second drive for Sioux Falls, he breaks open, beats Tristan Hatley on the jump just enough to give Tyree the confidence to sling that rock deep enough Great throw from Tyree and great separation from Terrazas.
35 yards, the total on the reception from Terrazas. Tyree, excuse me, goes with a little sneak up the middle again. He's the only back, if we're going to include him in the running backs, to have any numbers on the ground tonight.
Yeah, and you can see that, throughout the last couple of games, at least for Sioux Falls, they've been relying less and less on Marcus Duncan. Just in the last game, only 8 carries for him, and I'm hoping that they give him more looks here today.
Now from the midfield logo, Tyree in the guns. Carolina sent 5, pass near side. In a tight window for Terrazas. Hauls it in with his tiptoes on the sideline. Nice catch.
Yeah, and you're talking about super thin line between his feet and the sideline out of bounds as well. Very, very tough throw from Tyree, and Terrazas was being swarmed all over by Tristan Hatley again. This time manages to grab the catch.
Another first down for the Sparrows. Tyree, under pressure, slings it out to the backfield, finds Duncan, the tailback, no gain. He's taken down by Clint Hendershot. That'll give us an opportunity to introduce you to the rest of that Sparrows offense. Marcus Duncan and Charlemagne Cornelius, halfback and fullback. Michael Knight, A.J. Warren, Noe Terrazas, and K. Marion, the wide receivers. And on the line, we got Johnny Van Man and Moose Mitchell, the left guard and right guard, respectively. That's your Sioux Falls offensive starters. As Tyree goes back into the gun with Duncan off to his right. Also in that direction are 2 wideouts. Tyree over the middle, a nice undercutting route from K. Marion, picks up another Sparrows first down.
Now the Sioux Falls passing offense knows what to do against this Carolina passing defense that has been all good this season. They're starting to find these, little separations on the sidelines, and now they're misdirecting them, getting them to the middle of the field. They finally get to K. Marion on a very nice, like you said, underneath sweep route, and got herself a nice first down. And now Sioux Falls is trucking themselves near to the red zone.
Best drive of the game so far here in the early goings. 8th play of the drive will be the first carry for Duncan. Out of 1, nearly out of 2 tackles for Marcus. He picks up 4.
Yeah, and that's what we need to see out of Marcus Duncan out of this game for sure. As we continue moving forward, he is among the bottom in the running back core this season in yards. Just 335 coming in with 4 touchdowns. If he can get himself a little bit more involved, if they can get himself, into red zone threat territory, he could get you some more yards and touchdowns down the line.
Play action here on 2nd down. Pass near side. Caught by Knight. And that is good enough for another Sparrows first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from inside the red zone.
Yeah, and right now, it seems like Tyree's really relying on the speed of his wide receivers getting open. That is Knight on Lincoln Kingseed trying to catch up to him, and it was just enough space for, again, Tyree to get that confidence to throw the ball and get that first down.
Tyree is 6 for 6 on the drive, looking for 7-7. No. A little bit too much mustard on that pass to Terrazas.
Yeah, and that's just the first, minor mishap from Tyree there. It seems like he threw behind Terrazas on that quick in route, but right now, I don't think Sioux Falls is going to scoff that too much. They're inside the red zone. They've been trotting down the field pretty well in about 4 minutes nearly 4 minutes of drive action here, so great work on them.
5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Tyree is going to look stretch play left side for Duncan, and Duncan with a nice 3-yard run. Saw the hole that his line created for him on the outside and got to it, though was closed down pretty quickly.
Yeah, big credit to the Carolina defense to, swarm up that line as quickly as possible and still have an outside linebacker available, or inside linebacker that moved outside to get to Duncan. It was Clint Hendershot to grab that tackle. Great work on Carolina to adjust and adapt on that play.
Tyree on 3rd down, over the middle, and it's incomplete. A.J. Warren was in the area, and something we've seen too often here in this first quarter is the hitting from Carolina's defensive linebackers and DBs have proved troublesome for these wide receivers.
Yeah, and it's Clint Hendershot again. He backed himself up, just to make sure that he was an option as, a pass deflector. And that's all these linebackers really want to do here in Carolina is get those pass deflections. Only one of these guys has, multiple interceptions in Trevon Prasad, but Hendershot did a great job to get the deflection.
So it'll be Zoshtel Black, the kicker, where Sioux Falls on to attempt this 28-yarder. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is through and good. We have our first lead of the ball game. It's the Sioux Falls Sparrows 3, the Carolina Skyhawks nothing. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, put the fan in fantasy. Black is going to put his boot through the ball. As on the return now is Zoma. Just outside his own end zone, will get it to the 24-yard line before he is brought down by Briggs Markowski. And it's Carolina's turn to begin their second drive of the ball game. Last time out went a more unconventional 3-and-out.
Yeah, you don't see, sometimes with, Hattori Hanzo going 3 straight times to kind of start off this game. Sometimes they like to mix it up with Suna Nakai, but we'll see if they include Nakai in this time.
South under pressure immediately, and down he goes. Sioux Falls sent the blitz, and they got to the quarterback for a 6-yard loss.
Yeah, and that's kind of the woes that continue to go for Matt South, because I think that was just nerves hitting him right away. Seeing that the pocket was collapsing, he kind of shifted himself to the left-hand side, and that was just open market for Derek Williams, the outside linebacker, blitzing in to get to South.
Only his 4th sack of his 3-season career for Derek. Gets on the board here late in season 19. Pass outside. Caught by Tony Zoma. Gets a few of those yards lost, 4 in total. A 3rd and long on deck.
Yeah, and this is probably prime Sioux Falls territory here, as this is a 3rd and long. And we know about Matt South's woes this season in terms of throwing the rock, especially with the deep ball. And right now, Sioux Falls bunching up. This could prove to be fatal for them if they don't play it right.
South over the middle. Oh. Nice deflection. What a play from Nathan Barnett to get his hand in the way of that pass. And it's another 3-and-out.
Yeah, and you could see that 3 of the wide receivers were getting themselves open. And you could see the intended target was about 2 to 3 yards wide open as well. So Barnett, all he had to do was just get his outreached hands just to get his hands on the football. And just like that, Carolina with a quick 3-and-out, and it's going right back to Sioux Falls' hands.
Malone Brown with a nice punt earlier to set the Sioux Falls offense down at their own 2. This time has to put a little bit more boot into this one. Another great punt down to the 35-yard line. And a clobbering hit. Oh, my goodness. What a hit from Kane Vasquez on A.J. Levy.
We usually see this on Carolina's defensive end, but, we kind of forget that he's on special teams as well, especially on the tackling end. And if he can get to his punt receiver, that's going to be tough times, just like we saw there.
The Sparrows offense trots back to the line after marching all the way down the field and settling for a field goal last drive. Here comes Duncan here to begin this drive. Outside, trying to stretch the play, is run down from behind, only after picking up 3 by big number 77, Dean Giorno.
Yeah, and Marcus Duncan definitely needs to get himself, some separation, whether it be, better blocking from his linemen or just being smarter on the ground, because these 2-3 yard runs, they aren't going to help him through this game for sure.
Tyree, deep shot over the middle, taken away by Monte Wyatt on the far side, and he gets right across the 50-yard line into Sioux Falls territory.
And that is Tyree kind of playing the risk game there, because that was 1-on-3 coverage, and we talked about how Tyree loves to throw that deep patterns, whether it be through the sidelines or the middle, and we've seen that a few times in this game prove successful. But AJ Warren and K Marion love those middle post routes, and that should be prime territory for one Monty Wyatt. And now he's got his 9th interception this season.
So the Carolina offense comes back to the line and offset I. In this drive, they've had tough sledding on their first 2 drives, and it begins here on their third, going backward as the Sparrows circle into the backfield. Mike Wagner and company get to the tailback.
Yeah, and this is the Sioux Falls defense. They tire you out in the first half, and that's what they love to do. They don't run up the score all that much. They just make you tired defensively in their own way and beat and batter you from offense.
And off right side for Nakai, nothing doing. Tackled at the line of scrimmage for the second straight play by Terrell Davis and Nick Fargo.
Yeah, and again, the Sioux Falls defense, it seems like they know what Carolina's going to do. Now in a 3rd and deep situation again. Matt South got a situation. Here we are, 5 deep. You got to throw it smart to get to that first down.
And the Sioux Falls defense go 3 for 3 on 3 and outs. South, under pressure, passes over the middle into triple coverage, bobbled around and incomplete. Nearly threw that one away to A.J. Levy, and he'll go back to return this punt.
Yeah, and it looks like it was heading towards Tony Zoma's way. And again, it was a deep post round. Look how close he was to getting sacked too. Good job by the Carolina offensive lineman just to stop him right beforehand. But like you said, look at the bunch. You got Jay Ringgold, you got Williams, and there's AJ Levy getting that 3rd tip. And it was just enough to get it out of the hands of Tony Zoma. And again, quick 3 and out. Like you said, 3 for 3, this Sioux Falls defense.
So Malone Brown will get another opportunity to showcase his punting ability here in the first quarter. Punt is on its way. EV again elects to walk away from this one. Another nice Carolina bounce, and they pin him with inside the 10-yard line for the 2nd time tonight. The SFL network is coming to ESTV Plus app. 24/7 SFL programming will include content created by the community, the SFL's greatest games from the archives, exclusive network content, and live SFL regular season games. Download the ESTV Plus app on your Android or iPhone or on your TV through Roku, Amazon Fire, Vizio, and more. The SFL network, where SFL creators come together, as Duncan is unable to work that stretch play for positive yardage.
Yeah, and it looks like the running plays aren't really working, especially inside, that 20-yard line for Sioux Falls. So I think they should go back Tyree's way despite throwing the interception, because it was working when they were down to the 2 and they managed to get a field goal out of it, remember?
Tyree going to drop back, looking for a screen pass for Duncan left side, who cuts inside, taken down after a pickup of 4.
And not too bad of a run there from Duncan. Good decision to kind of cut inside, knowing that there was a defensive player. Not too sure if he was going to get blocked by one of his own offensive players. So he cut inside and still got a couple yards out of it, so he can't complain too much.
Split backfield here on 3rd down. Tyree, quick drop, shot over the middle, is caught, spinning into the interior of the secondary is Noe Terrazas, who picks up the first down to the 25.
Yeah, and he's been the benefactor of this first quarter here. That's his 3rd reception coming in and already over 50 yards on a very nice placed post route again, right down the middle of the field, and it seemed like nobody covered him, and you could see Hendershot kind of just outreaching his hand as a desperation attempt.
And that will do it for the first quarter of play. It's a very tight ball game still, 3-0 in favor of Sioux Falls. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on YouTube. Welcome back to Liberty Park in South Dakota. I'm Tyler Falk alongside my partner, Brett Solberg. Of course, we can't forget our statisticians, Justin Raside and Nelson Lozano, helping us out tonight. Tyree looking outside. That is caught for a good pickup of about 9 yards for Michael Knight.
Yeah, and the one thing that I haven't talked about so far about the passing game for this Sioux Falls Sparrow squad is how well balanced they like to pass this rock around. Kerry Marion might be the only one above 50 receptions in this wide receiver core, but AJ Warren now is above 50 after this game, and Nori Torres is going to get himself to 50 if he continues his pace. So it's great job spreading the football.
Quick out route near side, caught for first down yards and a little bit extra for tight end JJ McGee.
Yeah, now they're getting their tight ends involved, which is going to be good. Now it's going to misdirect Carolina as to where Tyree's going to throw that football. You know that he likes to throw it deep and try to get his, deep targets in mainly Terrazas and Marion. But getting the tight end involved is going to be big moving forward for the Sioux Falls squad, especially now starting in the second quarter.
Wing pass near side for Duncan. Turns on the Jets and gets to the out of bounds right after he crossed the marker for a first down.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's been working for Marcus Duncan this season has been the swing pass. He's been getting a lot of opportunities to, kind of run forward, and he's getting decent blocking. You can see just right there, 89 getting involved as well. That's the other tight end, Miles Portis, coming in just to be, an extra body to kind of help out Marcus Duncan on this one. And coming into this game, as I go back to my topic beforehand, Duncan has more receiving yards than he does rushing yards coming in, 356 to 335.
Tyree goes for a play action, pressure up the middle, and Tyree is thrown to the turf by Dean Giorno for a loss of 10.
Well, that ain't delivery, but he delivered him all the way to the ground, Dean Giorno did. As you can see, it was just a pursuit of which one was going to get to him between him and Phil Hall, who was looking to get himself his 9th sack of the season. But no, Dean Giorno was feeling a little bit hungry himself and decided, you know what? I can't get delivery. I'll get Dean Giorno.
After that play, the DBs will back off a little bit. Tyree, again under pressure, nearly throws it over the middle into the awaiting arms of Stinson for an interception, but it falls to the turf harmlessly.
And I talked about how the linebacking core don't really have too much for interceptions, but the only one who doesn't have an interception in his marker this season on the linebacking core is Danny Stinson. And you had a good chance to get an interception there, buddy, but linebackers in their damn stone hands.
Third and a country mile here for Tyree as he looks over the middle hot. And taking the brunt of the punishment was K. Marion for a big pickup of 14, but not enough to move the chains.
Yeah, you can tell that was very much an angered tackle from Lincoln Kingseed, as Carolina hasn't had much going their way so far in this game, but that's a key tackle to stop Marion on her tracks after the catch and force Sioux Falls, after, I would say, a pretty good drive from their own 5, to punt this football away.
Fontaine back out here to punt this one away. Let's see if he can match his opposite number to take a Sioux Falls bounce. Yes. And they will hit him inside the 5, as collecting it was AJ Levy. And now the Skyhawks get a little taste of their own medicine, starting on the shadow of their own goalposts.
And this could prove to be a little bit woeful for this Carolina team because, coming into this first quarter, only 3 yards of total offense. Can they get themselves forward out of here on the first drive of the second quarter for them?
Punch set left side. South under pressure, gets it out to the left. That's good for a first down. How about those 3 yards? You can say 3 yards, how about 21 on that reception to Tony Zoma?
Yeah, that's how you eat my words there, and Tony Zoma did a great job. It was just good separation on an out route. That's all it was. Because you could see the separation, and you could see the bunch on that formation that could just confuse any corner that needs to cover their man. Because there's so many things happening. They could go any direction at which way. They could cross. They could go split directions, and that's what confuses those defensive backs, and that's what leads to those open receptions and runs and catches.
Easy to lose your footing. South gonna throw again, near side this time, tipped up in the air and incomplete. Excellent coverage from Terrell Davis on Sam Avalos.
Yeah, and this is what Carolina kind of wants to get themselves going here near the end of the season, because they know that their offense has been admittedly anemic at times. So they want to get their offense, being a little bit more explosive, especially on the passing end and get Mass South going. So that's 2 straight deep passes. This one, I didn't mind the risk.
2nd and 10, empty backfield as South is alone in the gun. Pass over the middle, caught by DeSantis, the tight end, all the way to the 41-yard line. A pickup of about 16 and another first down.
Yeah, and DeSantis has been doing a decent job over the last couple weeks to get himself more involved. He's now second on the team in total receiving yards at 410 behind Avalos with the receiving yards. And, you know, he's getting himself involved, and that's a good thing.
Bump coverage. Avalos loses his feet near side. South goes far side, and it's a leaping grab by Harish Prasad as they get onto the opposite side of midfield to Sioux Falls' 31.
Yeah, we talk about the improvements of DeSantis. There's one elephant in the room for sure, and that is, you know, the admittedly disappointing season so far for Harish Prasad, only at 408 coming into this game and almost the de facto 3rd wide receiver when you think he should be the number 1 option for the Skyhawk squad. But nonetheless, he can still get himself open. He is still that elite talent when he gets himself open, and he's always a threat when he catches that football.
South looking near side, finds Avalos, and these Skyhawks continue to move the football, looking a lot more confident on this drive than they have all football game.
Yeah, and that's the difference right now, is that that first quarter, they didn't look confident whatsoever. It seemed like any play that they wanted to run, they were slow off the gates, and Sioux Falls was ready for it. But these passes right now, pinpoint from Matt South, and that's what they need out of this offense.
Next play of the drive, South, swing pass, near side for Nakai. Nakai spinning upfield is taken down by Jason Strongbow. It'll be 3rd and short for the Skyhawks.
That's another big 3rd down here. You're finally getting close pretty much in red zone territory, but you are 0 for 3 on 3rd downs so far. And this is the closest you've gotten to a 3rd down, 3rd and 1. So you need to make this if you want to progress forward.
And up the middle is Hanzo, falling forward for the first down for the Skyhawks to the 20-yard line.
And if you want to get that first down, you go with your bruising option in Hanzo, and he's going to get you those first downs. He usually almost never gets negative yardage. We've seen it maybe once in this game already, but he eventually gets those yards back and gets and makes the defense pay for sure.
High formation, South looking near side, diving attempt at a pick, no dice. That's the risk reward you play, Jason Strongbow, as South finds DeSantis as they move the chains. 1st and goal, Carolina.
And the reason why Strongbow had to dive on that attempt is that he got completely blown by DeSantis. So that was his only effort to get any deflection on that pass. And there you see it fails, and now it's a 1st and goal for Carolina.
3 minutes on the drive, pass deep into the end zone. Or a little bit too greedy. AJ Levy comes up with a pick. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, and it felt like that way too. And it was heading Prasad's way, and I was thinking that was the guy you should go to in this goal line situation. But Levy, the Hall of Famer, the Sioux Falls legend himself, gets himself his 3rd interception of the season, sets up Sioux Falls right at the 20.
Even with pick number 71 on his career, handoff to Duncan right side. Duncan slow on the uptick here in this contest as he's taken down after only picking up 2 on the play. The SFL Weekly Fantasy Contest is officially up and running. Think you can draft the best team every week while staying under the salary cap? Or maybe you just want to enhance your SFL experience. Free to play, no season-long commitment. And a new contest opens every week on Tuesday night. Contact Jack Wall, Stephen Hacker, or Hunter Norwood to join today as the handoff goes nowhere back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just nothing happened on that 2nd down play, and now it's a quick 3rd down for Sioux Falls after grabbing an interception. You got to give some kind of benefit to Levy's interception, and you know what? This is a good decision here, going 5 wide.
3rd and 8 from the 22. Tyree looks over the middle, caught near the marker, and he's going to be short.
just short too. And now Carolina now responding very well. After 111 yards of total offense from Sioux Falls, they've kind of been stifled here. They've only allowed 36 yards against this Sioux Falls offense, and right now another punt deep in their own territory could set them up in good field with their ensuing drive.
Both teams have come up with interception, but neither team able to capitalize on these turnovers. It remains a 3-0 ball game on the return for Zoma back to the 38-yard line, and that is where Carolina's offense will take over. South hit with the turnover bug instead of a touchdown in the last drive, maybe looking to keep hold of the football and maybe replicate the length of the drive, but maybe change the outcome.
Yeah, he's just got to stop throwing a double coverage. That's been his issue a lot of times this year. I would say at least 20 of those interceptions have been against double coverage.
Our eye, handoff near side for Nakai. Nakai stood up at the line of scrimmage by Levy.
Yeah, and how about a response after grabbing an interception on the defensive end? Levy comes back on defense, stops the running back right on the line. May not be a tackle for loss, but that's definitely a redo for Carolina, 2nd and 10.
He looks amped tonight, doesn't he, partner?
Oh, man.
Swarming all over the field here in this first half. 3 wideouts. South going to look for an out route near side. Caught by Zoma. Had to make an awkward little hop to get in the way of that football, but does haul it in safely for a pickup of 4.
Yeah, and just a decent little catch, maybe thrown a little bit too low, and that's why Zoma had to kind of, slide himself out of bounds after that catch. But it still got positive yardage, and then, opens up the playbook for 3rd down, which might be to the benefit for Carolina here.
3rd down, they'll throw trips over into the right side of the formation, near side of your picture. South, 2-step drop, and he couldn't get out of the way. Mike Wagoner brought the wagons home for Sioux Falls, and down goes Matt South.
Man, these defenses have stepped up really in this latter half of the second quarter for sure. Once you thought, either team was starting to get momentum and maybe would get some points, but no, it just all of a sudden we're back to ground zero and stopping both of these offenses pretty soundly, I would say.
Hunt is on its way from Brown, and leading it back to return as he is unable to get anything going on the return. Stood up at the 22-yard line. The SFL Minor League is about to begin. Games kick off Friday, October 14th on SFL YouTube. And it's not too late to create your player and get him or her involved in the next rookie class. Season 20's rookie draft takes place December 17th and 18th, so don't miss your chance. The sooner you create your player, the better your player will be on draft day. For more information, visit simulationfl.net. Wing pass near side for Duncan. Duncan with a nice turn upfield. Picks up 6 before Hendershot and Davidson Joseph, the quarterback, come up with the stop.
And that's what they'll want on those swing passes, at least, is to get those get like 5-6 yards, open up that playbook for 2nd down, and kind of make it an option so that they can maybe run it here on 2nd.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning here in this first half of play. Not a whole lot of offense, but some great defense on display here. You're watching the SFL, presented by APM Music on YouTube. Two minutes to go here in the first half. Split backfield here for Sioux Falls coming out of the break. Carolina send 4 as
nice.
as he throws, able to complete the pass, though, to Kay Marion, and she will get up for a 1st down.
Yeah, a little bit of a check down pass, and I don't think it was to Marion there. It looked to be 89 coming in, which is Miles Portis, the 3rd tight end on the depth chart, as you can see right there. Just as a quick check down option, wide open after the catch to at least cross the 1st down marker.
Already have taken 30 seconds out of these 2 minutes. Tyree over the middle, caught, another 1st down. This time it is to Marion. That'll move the chains.
A nice little quick slant for Marion as well, and that's just going to get herself open very easily. Quick slants always get a receiver open no matter what, whether it be behind or ahead of the defensive back, and Sioux Falls is really picking up the pace here.
Tyree looks outside, caught by Duncan. He goes backwards a yard, and Sioux Falls have to go back into the offensive set, back into the hurry up. Under a minute to go here in this half. Tyree looking near side this time for Cornelius. First touch of the ball game for the fullback. Gets 4 yards to midfield, and Sioux Falls didn't like what they're seeing the last couple of plays. Elect to call a timeout with 46 ticks to go in the first half.
Very smart timeout as well, because the first play was behind the line of scrimmage, lost a yard, and this one Cornelius had to get back that yard and then some. Now it's 3rd and 7 at midfield. They don't want to lose this momentum and force to punt the football away with 30 seconds left for Carolina.
DBs creep right up to the line and try and disrupt the wide receivers. Tyree over the middle, that's caught. First down for Sioux Falls. That's for Kerry Marion, and they're hustling back to the line.
And they got the bunch right up top, so that's going to confuse the DBs again.
Play action. Tyree looking outside this time, caught by Michael Knight as he scampers out of bounds after picking up 8 yards to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, and there's that spread the wealth again as Michael Knight gets himself involved. Marion has 4. They're going to challenge the play from the booth there. It looked to be good from over there, but as I was saying, spreading the wealth. 3 receptions from Knight, 3 receptions from Crosses, 4 from Marion. Warren's got involved. Everyone's getting involved in this passing offense.
This didn't come from Harish Prasad, like you mentioned. This came from the boys upstairs. And as you know, partner, you only need 1 foot in bounds here in the SFL. Here's the call.
After review, the pass has been ruled incomplete. The catch was
What?
made out of-
They are going to rule it an incomplete pass. And not for the first time tonight, kind of like the Louisiana game, how that game ended. I am flabbergasted.
Wait, is it just me, Tyler, or did you see Michael Knight's foot completely in bounds?
I do not agree with the call, but we have to respect it. So here's the play on this time. I bet they're going to try and argue that that's out of bounds. It's a nice catch from Terrazas on the sideline to pick up 4.
Yeah, I would think this one is much closer to the sidelines, and we're not seeing a booth review yet, but is Harish Prasad on the sidelines gonna toss out his challenge flag? It's not gonna happen. They're gonna trust on 3rd and 6 here.
Well, from inside the 35-yard line of Carolina, 3rd down here for Sioux Falls. They send the blitz. Pass right side is incomplete. Nearly a backwards pass, but they are going to say did cross that little imaginary line, if you will, of a forward pass range. And so, ball falls incomplete. Zostel Black takes to the field as the kicker. Could we see a long field goal attempt? We are, partner.
Yeah, and it looks to be from 51, and this might be one of Black's longest field goals this season for sure.
This to make it a 6-point bowl game. Snap spot. Kick is up on its way. It has the distance, and it is through the uprights and good. Zostel Black with a 51-yarder to double Sioux Falls' lead. It's 6-0.
Great kick from Black as well, and it looked like he had a couple extra yards. Maybe the wind was in favor of him as well. He maybe would have been able to kick it from about 52 or 53 with that hang time. But nonetheless, that is all important with this defensive battle. Drawing between these two, it seems like field goals are going to count much more than they usually do.
We are underway again. 17 seconds to go here in the first half. Zoma on the return. Tries to bounce out the left side. Is bulldozed by Turgan James, the wide receiver on special teams. And from the 25-yard line, here come the Carolina Skyhawks offense. They still have 2 timeouts in their arsenal.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting last 13 seconds on how Carolina is going to approach this. Are they just going to settle and head to the locker room with a donut, or are they going to try to get themselves a quick score out of this?
They will get the ball to start the second half, and they will go with a run up the middle. Here goes Hanzo, the fullback, with a big run, and they're going to hustle back to the line. 3 seconds to go. Carolina calls a timeout.
That's a huge run, like you said, from Hattori Hanzo, and that are the runs that you don't expect from fullbacks. But Hanzo has been doing this frequently all season. If he gets enough space and enough coverage and enough blocking, he's going to get himself a great burst of speed down the field, and all of a sudden he's going to get those 20-yard runs from out of nowhere. So I think teams need to be more weary out of Hattori Hanzo, and especially Sioux Falls heading to the second half.
After more of a conservative play to end out the first half, here comes a Hail Mary try. South, under pressure, out of that tackle, launches one into the sky. Where it falls, nobody knows. Back in the end zone, nearly taken away by Levy. Ball falls incomplete. Prasad, the intended target, as we enter into halftime. Sioux Falls 6, Carolina 0, and his partner, it's a old-fashioned slugfest out here.
Yeah, it's all defense right now for both these teams. It feels any kind of momentum offensively that gets started for either offense gets immediately stopped by the defense, whether it be quick 3-and-outs, whether it be a key interception in the end zone, whether it be a stop just before they get into the red zone, or in goal line territory forcing field goals. That's why you're seeing 6 on one side and a donut on the other. Both these defenses have come to play, and it is shown by big hits, big deflections, big plays.
And let's talk offense for just a little bit, partner. Julian Tyree already has 29 attempted passes tonight, a far cry from where they were a few seasons ago when it was the run game that took center stage here in these parts.
Yeah, and it's basically a carbon copy of what we saw in their Charleston game, as Tyree, again, I'm going to reference back. He was 36 of 51 in that game for 341. And that's what helped them get to that victory against Charleston. So if they think this is going to be their bread and butter moving forward and get into that playoff spot, they're going to continue that way, and they're on pace to get over 50 attempts again.
We are underway here in the second half from Liberty Park here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Zoma on the return got a nice block, but is unable to make heads or tails of it as he's down at the 25-yard line. Tyler Falk and Brett Solberg here in the booth, here from Liberty Park. Special thanks to our guys in the Sats truck, Justin Reside and Nelson Lozano, helping us sound smarter than we actually are. Of course, to Cameron Irvine, doing a little bit extra this weekend here in the SFL, going across state borders to bring you SFL headquarters production. So a huge shout out to our commissioner, as Nakai unable to really do anything in this game. He has been bottled up.
Yeah, and that's been the key there for Sioux Falls' defense is, bottling up any opportunity for both running backs to get involved. Like Hattori Hanzo had that one run so far, but that's been about it. Both running backs have been short up.
And 12 to go with Hanzo up the middle, and like we saw to end the first half, he had those two blockers spring feed, but he was not able, the fullback, to get through the first stanza of the defensive lineman.
Yeah, and this time it kind of gets them forward a little bit there, but it's still a tough 3rd and 7 situation. Carolina hasn't been too well on these third downs in this game, as it's already been documented. They're 1 of 5 so far. Can they go 2 for 6?
AJ Levy, the safety, creeps down to coverage as South hit as he throws. Took a brutal hit from James Kelly, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, it was nearly a sack there if it was, any longer with that football, and he would have been down, and that would have been the 3rd sack of the game for Sioux Falls. And they've been terrorizing Matt South, on and off through the first half, and there shouldn't be any expectations that it won't stop here in this second half.
So Malone Brown, maybe one of the biggest highlights of the night, was the punter knocking Sioux Falls deep into their own territory already twice tonight. On for another punt, another good punt. Levy is taken down at the 33-yard line as Sioux Falls offense makes their first appearance in this second half.
Yeah, now Coming off a 20-29 for 192 yards, can Tyree continue moving this Sioux Falls team down the field and run this clock? Because I think they're going to trust on this defense to keep Carolina, in check here.
Dean Jorno might have had to make a delivery as we see Ryan Ray get onto the field for the first time in quite some time as the pass outside is caught. Good enough for 7.
You're saying part-time delivery boy, part-time football player, and he's already got to make a pizza delivery? Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. I think he heard his higher colleague calling him to make that delivery instead of get on the line. Already had a sack tonight, which is surprising.
Yeah, I hope they pay him more, for sure.
2nd and 3 now here for the Sparrows. Split back set from their 40-yard line. Tyree. Deep shot over the middle into coverage. Superb coverage from the free safety, Monte Wyatt, able to deflect that one away.
Yeah, that's gonna be Monty Wyatt's as well as Davison Joseph's job. He's gonna be covering K. Marion throughout this game, and they've done okay so far, limiting her to 4 shorter receptions and 53 yards through the first half. But they're gonna need to continue it moving forward in the second half.
3rd and 3. Tyree looks near side, wide open. AJ Warren, late hit comes in. No flag on the play. Warren gets the first down and is hit hard on the ground.
It was hit hard, and did you see the knees hit the helmet as well with just all of a sudden impact? That's a dangerous dive, and we've seen a lot more of that in the league. We might have to go to the disciplinary team in the SFL and say, hey, you might have to do something about this moving forward.
Tyree floats it over the middle. Wow. Caught somehow in the middle of all that. It's Miles Portis coming up with a huge grab.
Man, and these tight ends, we talked about Portis earlier in this game, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, it was number 80 that came in as well. I've already forgotten names for these tight ends, but you don't expect Sioux Falls tight ends to get involved as much as they have in this game, but right now they've gotten 3 key receptions for not only first downs, but this one here, a deep run that almost got them to red zone territory.
It looked like Monte Wyatt's ball all night long, except Portis had other ideas. 1st and 10 from the 23. Pass over the middle. That one is deflected away by Danny Stinson, who just bolted into the middle of that path.
Yeah, how about attempt 2 for you to get your first interception of the season? You still couldn't get your stone hands from getting the interception. Come on, brother. Carolina needs you defensively to turn this thing around. Sioux Falls is driving down the field, and, it's not bad to get a stop, but right now interceptions are key.
Carolina again will play bump coverage on the line. Here on 2nd down. Play action. Tyree going to look to throw under pressure. Down he goes. He was smacked at the 29-yard line by Phil Hall.
Phil the Wall Hall comes in, and in not getting the sack earlier that Dean Jorno stole from him earlier, he gets this one, and now we can safely say that's his 9th sack of the season.
Now they get backed up. 3rd and 16 here for the Sparrows. Tyree looking for a slant pattern over the middle. That is caught somehow by Michael Knight. Tyree able to fit it in these tight windows. They get 10, needed 16. On comes Ashton Black, the kicker.
I don't think Sioux Falls is going to mind on that one, because now it's going to be for sure a 2-score lead for Sioux Falls if they can get this field goal, and it's going to be a rather short one. We're maybe looking at 30.5 for Jostel Black, and that's nothing compared to 51. So this should be an easier attempt for him.
Snap spot. Snap is mishandled. Kick is on its way, and it is good. No problems on the kick. Handle was a little dicey, but all the same, it's now 9-donut. Sioux Falls out in front. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. Simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. On the return is Zoma, looking for a lane, can't find it. He's taken down at the 22-yard line. And so Carolina comes back onto the field with their offense, needing to put a drive together like we saw late on in that second quarter, able to march down the field, looked like they were going to score, except they threw an interception. Hopefully this time, Matt South and company can put this drive together and it result in points for Carolina's first score of the evening. Shotgun set, South going to look to throw, dumps it off to his tailback. Nakai, whether it be ground or air, he cannot get going tonight, unfortunately for these Skyhawks. In comes Jason Strongbow in on the stop. It's a loss of one of the play. Now from the 21-yard line, off the loss of one. South under center with Nakai offset behind him. It will be a handoff. Nakai is being bullied tonight as Darius Hawkins lowers his shoulder into the smaller halfback. A crunching hit. Nakai's going to feel that one in the morning, as now it's third down. Empty backfield, South under center. Two-step drop, South over the middle, caught first down. That is a good sign for these Skyhawks as South finds DeSantis on a drive that looked to be dead in the water as they convert for DeSantis first down here for the Skyhawks. Take a look again. South had enough time to find DeSantis over the back shoulder. Unable to close down quickly was Derek Williams. That results in the first down here for Carolina as they trot back to the line. First and 10 now here for the Skyhawks on their own 34. South, shot over the middle, deflected, nearly taken away off the deflection by Jay Ringgold. Incomplete pass. Ill-advised throw. South again looking to try and get everything done all in one play and firing it into double coverage. Unfortunately for him, doesn't have quite the same accuracy that his opposite number, Julian Tyree, has had tonight. Maybe might have to have a little bit of luck. DB's back up all the way to the first down markers. They go up the middle with a run. Only a yard on the fullback dive for Hanzo, as it was Derek Williams coming up with the stuff. 3rd and 9 upcoming now here as we approach the 5-minute mark. Carolina's offense on their second third down of the drive, trying to convert just like they were able to earlier in the drive. They now come out with 5 wide receivers, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. South going to look to throw. Sioux Falls send 5, pass over the middle. Oh my goodness, Zoma was open. The pass just a little too high.
Yeah, and that's the issue with Matt South's inaccuracies, and you said it. Julian Tyree's been pretty accurate so far, 24 of 35 now, but 10 of 18 now ain't going to cut it for any type of offense. South has to be more accurate with his throws.
South only converting on 55% of his passes tonight. Tyree, 68% of his passes as the punt is away from Brown. And Beebe able to make a little bit of a return up to the 27-yard line. So it's the Sioux Falls offense coming back onto the field after the defense came up with their second stop on third down. After unable to stop them on the first third down of the last drive, out comes the offense. Able to make a field goal in the last drive. We'll see if they can add on more points here on this drive. Tyree looks for the screen near side, has Duncan. Duncan in plenty of space, picks up 10 before being shouldered to the ground.
Yeah, and right now that seems to be working for Duncan. The run isn't, because he's only averaging 2 yards per carry on his 6 carries so far. But again, that's the second time that we've seen Marcus Duncan just get wide open on those swing passes and find an open lane to, if not get a first down, then get some big chunk of yardage. And yeah, it's paying dividends for him, where he's got 32 yards on his receptions as opposed to 12 on the ground.
Wide receiver tucked in tight to the line, pass out left-hand side, caught by the tight end McGee, who fights off a challenge to get 8 yards on the play.
And again, these tight ends playing a huge part on the Sioux Falls offense, unsuspectedly. We talked about Portis getting the big run here, and now McGee getting his second catch, and that's another 8 yards, and sets up such a manageable 2nd and 2 for Sioux Falls.
Tyree sidearms it over the middle, caught by Portis, who's made a couple of those tight end go routes or tight end post routes working again. Tyree able to find him for the first down.
Yeah, and right now it seems like the tight ends are the ones getting just open enough for the Sioux Falls offense, and Tyree's gonna throw him to him no problem because they have got the reliable hands right now.
Play action, Tyree steps back and steps right into a sack. Coming off the edge was Ryan Ray as he makes his first big appearance here in the ball game.
Yeah, and that's a huge way to get himself involved. It looked like Sioux Falls was just making it an easy way down the field. And how about this? 9-yard sack. Take yourself to the ground, Mr. Tyree, and set your team up for 2nd and 19.
Beyond the sacks he's had to suffer tonight, 2 in total. Make that 3 or 4 in total if we count Dean Jorno's as well. Still doing pretty well for himself as he looks to throw again. Play action, pass over the middle, nothing doing. That pass is incompleted, a little bit too far out. One of the most inaccurate passes we've seen Tyree make this evening.
Yeah, now Carolina probably has an idea of what they're going to do this next play here. They're at the 3rd and 19. They're probably going to look to go deep to get that first down, and they've got 2 options to go through. Maybe 3 if you include Portis, but with this formation, you're either looking at Terrazas or Marion.
Bump coverage as the DBs come all up to the line. They have 20 yards to play with as Tyree pumps once and throws a pick.
Wow.
Davidson Joseph was in the pass. It seemed like Ryan Ray's sack got into the head of the quarterback.
Yeah, it looked exactly it, because the first throw after the sack, wildly inaccurate, and this one here, probably just as much, because I don't think the receivers were ready at all for that pass. I think it was going towards Michael Knight, but he definitely wasn't ready for it, but Joseph was, and this could be the light that's needed for Carolina to turn things around.
So here comes Matt South in the gun with Nakai to his left. South launches one over the middle. That one's deflected and unable to catch. That is Harish Prasad. He's kicking himself after missing that catch.
And I don't even think there was that much of deflection. I think that was just a bobbled pass, and that is a rare bobbled pass from Prasad as well. We know about his elite ability as a wide receiver, and he just couldn't get his hands on that football. Just very, very bad timing right now for this Carolina offense that needs to get going here.
And they'll get a free pass of 5 yards as going off to the right-hand side is Nakai. Nakai with a great run, best run of the night. Before that run had been in the negatives in terms of total yards on the ground with -7. That gain of about 8 or 9 might just put him back in the positive if Carolina declined this offsides penalty.
And they will here. And again, it's Biff Markham that's just jumping himself a little bit there. And I get it. You want to keep the team on the goose eggs, on the donuts, on, every, word that you can find to represent a 0. But, you got to stay disciplined with it. And you have to keep yourselves, in check like you have throughout this game. And that's been the reason why that Carolina has had a 0 on that score mark.
Alfonso through the middle is lit up.
Oh.
Just before he's able to get the first. Stood up at midfield by Nick Forger, the longtime veteran of this Sioux Falls defense. 4th and inches. It's decision time here for Carolina.
It looked to me that he was just about to get there. They are going to go for it here on 4th and inches, I think, though.
They are. Through the middle,
Easy.
wide open hole for a Hanzo. As easy as you like for the fullback as Carolina convert on 4th down.
I'm pretty sure that entire offensive line was past the first down marker themselves before Hanzo got that football. Great work from Carolina to go just complete protection on the running back to give him just enough space for that first down.
You got a great push, a great jump on the line, and that's what helped them pick up the first down. South going to look to throw, looks for Nakai out of the backfield. Nakai spins around and is tackled by his opposite number. And unfortunately, it looks that Derek Williams is slow to get up on the play.
And it's not looking good because, Derek Williams has been pretty involved in this game. He's gotten 7 tackles. It looks like he's back up, though, so hopefully it doesn't hamper his play moving forward.
A little shaken, but not stirred. Last play, good to see him back up and going. Hand off through the middle, Hansko. And he is tackled. It's the 44s meeting up again. Williams with the tackle, and he's looks much worse for wear on that play.
Yeah, and, it's good that Williams didn't, take himself to the sidelines there because he's been involved in now 8 tackles in this game, which is, I believe, the most on the team. No, I'm sorry, that's Terrell Davis with 10, but he's been involved in the linebacking core more than anyone else.
South fires over the middle, incomplete. Led his receiver just a little bit too far. I think that was Avalos trying to make the spectacular diving catch. And now, the 39-yard line, it looks like they're outside of Whistle Jones's range, and I don't think they're going to attempt going for it again on 4th partner. Out comes Malone Brown of the punting unit.
Yeah, this would end up being about a 55-yarder, so it'd be a little bit too much for Whistle Jones, I think. I don't think any SFL kicker has made it more than 54, unfortunately.
Brown has been spectacular tonight. He angles this one to the pylon. It is hauled in and running into the end zone is Kane Vasquez. That'll be down for a touchback, unfortunately, for Brown, who's been the bright spot for these Skyhawks.
Yeah, but the punt wasn't too bad. He was looking to coffin corner it, but it looked like the wind just didn't give him enough to push it out of bounds. So he had to rely on his special teams members to try to cut inside, and Vasquez did a decent job to try to do that. But nonetheless, Sioux falls at the 20.
It's quarterback sneak to close out the 3rd quarter. Only a yard from Tyree. And here we go into the 4th quarter. Get your 4s, 86s, and 12s up in chat. And remember, Cadillac style. Here as we approach the final frame here in South Dakota. One more quarter here in regulation here on a Friday evening. Welcome back to Liberty Park. Tyler Falk, Brett Killian here to bring you the conclusion here of this football game between the Skyhawks and Sparrows. Pass off to the right-hand side is hauled in by Warren. He steps out of bounds after picking up about 6.
Yeah, and they're just looking to get themselves into like a short 3rd down scenario. I don't think they were really looking to get that first down straight away. Because right now they have the 9-0 advantage, which to them probably feels like 21-0 because of this defense being just so stout and so shut down today against this Carolina offense.
Defense pitching a shutout. Offense doing just enough so far. Tyree over the middle. Wide open is Portis for a first down to the 36.
It's so good to see Sioux Falls rely on those tight ends because it just seems to be the difference maker right now between, them getting or not getting those first downs. And, in these key 3rd down situations, I believe they've went to a tight end side about 3 times, and it's resulted in those 3 conversions. They're 3 of 11 on 3rd down.
Play action, pass near side, caught on Tyree's 30th completion of the bowl game. This one goes to Warren, and they're at midfield.
Yeah, and that's a big catch there from Warren as well, because you can see that there was a little bit of pressure on the edge sides on Tyree, so he had to quicken his throw a little bit there. But when you have someone that's scrappy like Skippy Curtis on Warren, sometimes it can be tough to get those catches. But Warren did a good job to get the catch.
Speaking of Skippy Curtis, Scrappy is one of the words to describe Skippy. Very outspoken, but a very much beloved member of the community as Tyree. Looks for a deep shot, right side,
good
and
deflection.
it is timely defending by Tristan Hatley. That one should and maybe could have gone for 6 had Hatley not been there.
That has been his assignment all game, and it's basically pretty much shut down any deep passes for Kay Marion. She's only broken out to a couple of those, and she is probably one of the most underrated deep threats in this game today, I would have to say. And right now, Tristan Hatley's done a fantastic job on it.
Second down. Tyree going to look to throw. It's Portis. Portis has got 8 yards on another reception for the tight end.
And again, it's that play, I think, was just to get themselves closer so they can open up their playbook for third down. And I think they have some formula going into moving those chains. And even though it's, it's not conventional, most people will want to get that first down. They still would want to have an open playbook for third and short.
Third and short now here for the Sparrows. Tyree, short drop pass over the middle, and it didn't look like Terrazas was ready for it.
Not at all, and it felt like Tyree kind of bobbled that throw as well, and just a little bit of miscommunication between these two that resulted in an incomplete pass, and what looked like a good Sioux Falls drive ends in little bit of a woe as they have to punt the football away, and they're going to hope to pin Carolina deep.
Emmy Prefontaine on for another punt here tonight. This one gets away, angled toward the near sideline. It's going to drop at the 3, take a nice hop, and will roll into the end zone, down for a touchback. We want to remind you that 8 p.m. Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. 8 p.m. Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit 8pmmusic.com. And off left side, goes for Nakai. And for one of the rare times tonight, gets positive yardage on the run. Gets 3 yards all told before he is greeted by Jason Strongbow.
Yeah, and I think the difference between Carolina getting and not getting points has been Sioux Nakai. Now at 8 yards on 8 carries. That is a number we didn't think we'd see today.
South, 5 steps up, pumps once, and the pocket collapse around him. Biff Markham comes through the middle to take down South.
Yeah, and he's been relatively quiet aside from his 2 penalties today, but he finally gets to the quarterback. He finally stays disciplined enough to get himself past the offensive line and just around the knees of Matt South to bring him down.
3rd sack of the season for Biff. It's 3rd and long now for Carolina. Pass here from South, looking near side.
Good
what a
pass.
grab from Sam Avalos in a sea of black. The one lone white shirt jumps up, climbs the ladder, snags it out of the air.
And there is the reason why Sam Avalos is leading the team in receiving yards. He gets those kind of catches. And if anyone in the beginning of the season would have thought Avalos would be leading the team in yards in yards this season instead of Harish Prasad, they'd be saying you're joking. But right now, that's one of the catches you see out of him.
Rush play near side for Nakai, and it's tough. Kept running again. Strongbow, seen so often here tonight, comes up with another tackle on Nakai.
Yeah, and it might be desperation time at this point for Carolina. Maybe just, shut down Sioux Nakai and just have him on a full blocking role. Maybe rely on Hattori Hanzo a little bit more. He's been being a little bit more successful with his near 5 yards of carry.
South passes over the middle, caught by DeSantis near the first down marker, but unable to get the favorable call. It'll be 3rd and inches here coming up for Carolina.
Yeah, that's going to be another key 3rd down for Carolina as they are 3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Both teams not doing really well on these 3rd down conversions, so any conversion is key.
Power eye left side. Nakai's got it. 1st down. Took a little bit longer they might have liked, perhaps, but it's a first down nonetheless.
Yeah, and they're getting themselves moving forward here. They're nearly at midfield after starting at the 20 here, and it feels like slow goings, but both these defenses have been stout, and Sioux Falls has been more stout, so it's been tougher going for Carolina and moving down this field, but they're starting to get some momentum here.
Y formation with 8 in the box. South gonna look to throw left side, caught by the tight end. Picks up about 4 yards at midfield. That's DeSantis again.
Yeah, and now they're finding themselves with those mid-route catches, and now it feels like they're getting what they're wanting, Carolina, and that's got to be positive signs for Matt South, and it's got to be a little bit of a confidence booster for him as well. Now 14 to 24, that completion percentage starting to rise.
And now through the middle, Nakai is trucked at the 42. A little bit of wind, it got the wind knocked out of him after picking up a whole bunch of yards for the first time tonight.
Yeah, but look at this gap that the offensive line gives him too. Big block from 75. What a fantastic block is that. If that block didn't happen right there from Ryan Caudill, that left guard, he probably would have been stuffed behind the line instead of getting that first down.
Left guard came across to set up the edge at just the right time. Brand new set of downs here for the Skyhawks. South, deep shot over the middle, finds Harish Prasad. Just enough touch on the ball from Matt South, one of his best passes tonight. He's made a couple of these on this drive alone, and now Carolina is in the red zone.
Man, and that's gutsy calling as well to place it basically against A.J. Levy, who has an interception on Matt South today. So gutsy throw, but he gets it to Prasad, and that's the elite that we know from Harish Prasad.
Speaking of interceptions from Levy, the last interception that came from Levy was when Carolina was in the red zone. Their only other time they've been in the red zone, as Nakai gets the call, gets 3 on the play.
That's a good point you bring up. So now, Carolina, you have to think back to when you were in the red zone. How smart are you going to play this? The first play, not too bad. Get it to Nakai, see if he can get you some extra yardage. He gets you 3. Now, what are you going to do here on the second down?
3 wide receivers and a split backfield behind South here on second down. South going to look to throw near side, caught by Zoma for a good chunk of yards. It'll be 3rd and short from the 8-yard line. This time here in the red zone, they've been a little bit more conservative than the Carolina partner, and it seems to be working for them.
And again, thinking back, though, that interception to A.J. Levy in the end zone was thrown at the 8-yard line, so South's got to be careful on this play.
I think they'll go with a fullback dive up the middle. 4-3 look out of the Sparrows. No, they're going to pass. South, left side, caught by Prasad. 1st and goal, Carolina. Back to the line they go in a hurry. South, left side, caught by Nakai. He'll step out of bounds after picking up a yard.
That's a generous yard there. I think he didn't even cross the line of scrimmage before going out of bounds. So now it's time to be playing a little bit generous on Carolina's side. But nonetheless, 2nd and goal stops the clock at 4:30. They can change their formation here. Now getting to their drive highest, 14th play of this drive.
The longest drives of the night, just under 5 minutes taken off the game clock here in the 4th quarter. 5-step drop from South, under pressure, hit as he throws, and nearly picked off by Barnhart. Oh yeah, the pick, and he dropped it.
Yeah, and that was a perfectly played Sioux Falls defense as well, getting to South as he throws it right in the vicinity of 3 defenders. And like you say, Barnhart just couldn't get his hands on the football. Now Carolina has another chance to punch their ticket to the end zone.
Shotgun set from the 3-yard line. South to throw. Under pressure. Outside. Caught! Touchdown! Carolina! Tony Zama gets the Skyhawks on the board, and the shutout is over.
How about a breath of fresh air for both Matt South and this Carolina offense? It's felt this entire game that Sioux Falls has just stifled them at every stop possible, but they finally get a score, and it's a big one too. They get 6 on the board, potentially 7, so they're only down 2 with still around 4.5 minutes left in this game. So that opens up opportunity for Carolina to come back to this.
Snap spot, extra point is up, and it is good. And so now even a field goal from Carolina could very well win this game. And if they keep up their offensive production like we saw on this past drive, they might just do it. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams, all the places you can watch the games, and to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. You can take a look at all the stats, the records, leaderboards, pretty much everything you want to know about the SFL can be found on simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. As the return from AJ Levy gets the 25-yard line, and so now the most pivotal offensive drive for Sioux Falls begins now, partner.
Yeah, and Sioux Falls, you have to think to yourself, you're going to throw this ball a lot. Tyree's probably going to throw this ball a lot. I would go with swing passes. Trust on the legs of Marcus Duncan here on the swing pass.
Tyree going to look deep near side. Caught and heading out of bounds is K. Marion. How about that for, well, we could say originality. We could say for repetitiveness. Try and go to the running back. No, we'll just hit you over the top with a nice corner route from Marion.
Yeah, and that one was a Davidson-Joseph matchup. We usually see Tristan Hatley on K. Marion, but this time they switched it up and put Joseph on her instead, but this time it didn't work out, and just enough space for K to get that open pass and quickly, right away. And if you think maybe another yard of sideline space, that spin move would have worked and she would have been gone.
25 yards on the pitch and catch from Tyree to Marion already at midfield. Tyree going to look to throw again. This time he'll go to the swing pass for Duncan, and Duncan able to pick up 5, stays in bounds at the 46.
Yeah, and I think for Sioux Falls, they really need to think about just shedding as much clock as possible. At least get this drive down to the 2-minute warning and force Carolina to try again, see if lightning can strike twice in the minds of Sioux Falls. But right now, if they can continue moving forward and get a score, this could be icing on the cake for them.
Tight ends, 2 wide receivers here for the Sparrows. Tyree is going to try and milk as much clock as possible. Pass over the middle. It is dropped. They try to hit wide receiver over the middle. Incomplete. It's K. Marion. That's surprising that she dropped that pass.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it was partially caught, and then Davidson-Joseph. No, I wasn't too sure about that. It looked to be Clint Hendershot with the hit there instead. Yeah, it maybe was in her hands for a fraction of a second, but it was popped right away by the hard shoulder pads of Clint Hendershot.
Carolina's defense could use another stop here on 3rd down. Identical formation here for the Sparrows on 3rd down. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Again, tried to hit Marion. This time, a little bit of an awkward throw, and Carolina's defense comes up with the biggest stop of the night.
Yeah, absolutely the biggest stop. Carolina just scored, and you basically force Sioux Falls to punt the football away to give Carolina a chance to take the lead for the first time in this game, and we're near the end of it. So this is big for Carolina. If they can get themselves a decent field position, it depends all on Sammy Prefontaine's punt, though.
Fontaine's last punt went back into the end zone for a touchback. This time, takes a nice Sparrows bounce. Can he stay in bounds? Yes! Down to the 3-yard line for the second time tonight. It's Nathan Barnett on the hands team, and Carolina is going to have to go at least 60-some-odd yards to get into field goal range.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough. Aside from the one drive, Sioux Falls has been spot on against Carolina. And you have to think to yourselves, minimum run plays for Carolina if it's only Suna Nakai out there. It's going to be a lot of passes, which worked out for them on the last drive.
It's got to be quick passes. We know how dangerous this defensive line can be. South is able to get the ball away in time before Wagner hit him. Oh, a dangerous pass, a dangerous play.
Man, and if he would have had his, he probably would have 4 sacks in this game. No issue. He has been just a threat to Matt South all game, just down his neck, breathing down his spine. He's got to be having nightmares of him after coming in tonight now.
2nd and 10. South under pressure again, and down he goes! Darius Hawkins come up with the safety!
Forget about a field goal to win this game now, Carolina. You've just got safetied by Darius Hawkins. He's the 3rd defensive lineman to get himself a sack on Matt South, and now you're going to punt this football away. Sioux Falls, you now have a chance to ice this one away, getting the football back.
And the punt off the safety is on its way. Levy on the return, and he's going to get a nice return up to the 44-yard line, and everything is turning up Sioux Falls here in the last couple of plays. And we want to remind you that this weekend, Next Level Sports' coverage of the Simulation Football League visits Minnesota Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where the Legend come off their shocking win over Baltimore, and they will welcome the DC Dragons, 2 teams battling for division titles. Sunday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern, Florida tries to keep its slim lead in the East Division as rival Denver. Plus live look-ins on the unbeaten London Knights and the high-flying San Diego Mavericks in desperation mode. For a channel guide and more info about NXT, visit NLSE.com. As the pass near side will find the tight end McGee for a good pickup of 8 yards.
Yeah, and Tyree throws his 51st attempt in this game, and now he's matched his last game total, and here we are again, 102 attempts in the last 2 games. He's looking like a modern-day Johnny Pickler out there.
Modern-day Johnny Pickler? You'd probably just say last season. London have changed up their philosophy. They take maybe a page out of Sioux Falls' old playbook and have become more of a running team. South, deep shot, right
open.
side! Up by K. Marion, and is dragged down from behind inside the 10-yard line.
Wide open. It was only a matter of time. Deep threat dynamo. And Tristan Hatley, you did such a fantastic job all throughout this game to keep Marion covered, and it was just one blown assignment, and all of a sudden, 9-yard line for Sioux Falls right away. K. Marion over the century mark. Julian Tyree nearly at 400.
What backfield here on 1st and goal for the Sparrows. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. The Sparrows, with a touchdown, could very well ice this one. A field goal keeps Carolina in it. You're watching the Simulation Football League on YouTube. The dramatic conclusion is next. Tyler Falk, Brett Solberg in a booth here from Liberty Park. 2 minutes to go. Tyree looking near side. It is caught. And trying to turn up field is the tight end McGee. Can't do it. Stopped at the line of scrimmage as Carolina take their first time out.
It'd be a tough situation for Sioux Falls because you've only got one set of downs essentially before you hit the end zone. So you can't really run too much clock. Carolina's going to use those timeouts to stop the clock right away. So your only option here is to score a field goal or a touchdown no matter what. If it's a field goal, Carolina still has a chance. But if it's touchdown, it's going to be ball game.
Our eye handoff, Duncan. And Duncan is caught from behind by Hall. Loss of 2. Carolina take their second. But Sioux Falls moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and not a good thing for Sioux Falls here because now they have 11 yards to get themselves to the end zone, and it makes it tough because you're going to force yourself into a passing situation, and you can't have an ill-advised throw near the red zone and in the end zone. So be careful with your next throw, Tyree.
Coverage from the DBs. Play action. Tyree under pressure. Down he goes. A sack. Christopher Colon comes up with another sack for the Skyhawks, and the defense has played lights out here in the fourth quarter. Now it's up to the offense to make something happen. Now the only question is, how much will they be down by, partner?
Yeah, because the choice is no longer touchdown or field goal. Is it field goal or blocked field goal at this point? So can Carolina block the field goal and have a chance to win this game, or are they going to be fighting to tie it up here? That's the question.
Hostile Black called on again. This one a 37-yarder is hit from 51 earlier tonight. Low snap again is mishandled, but the kick is up and good from Black. It's the snaps that have been quite wayward tonight for the special teams for Sioux Falls partner, but Black doesn't care. That's 4 for 4 for him tonight.
Yeah, and it's just enough coverage from the line to give Black enough time to wait for that ball to be pinned. That's the big thing. And now, 7-point lead. Carolina, this is your time to shine and get yourself to the end zone. And it all starts here with this kick return. Can you get yourself in a decent field position for Matt South and company?
The score is 14-7, but Sioux Falls have not scored a single touchdown tonight. Riddle me that, Batman. As the return now from Zoma is going to try and angle himself and weave his way through coverage and is taken down at the 22-yard line. Out comes Carolina's offense. They went backward into the end zone for a safety. They can't do that here with 1:40 to go in regulation and no timeouts.
And 78 yards to the end zone, so there is no option. They're going pass. Starts off with 4 wide, 3 at the right.
South to throw here on first down. Fires over the middle. He threw the game away on the first play of the drive. Jay Ringgold comes up with a pick to ice this one.
Yeah, and he tried to go with his reliable lead option in Harish Prasad, but Jay Ringgold staying back, knowing it was going to knowing that one of the passes was either going to go to Zoma or maybe Prasad. I don't think it was going to be to anyone else on either side. So it was all reliant on the safeties to stay back, and if anyone was going to get beat, they're going to be that backup. And Ringgold was that backup to grab the pick.
And so with this win, Sioux Falls at present will take the lead in that Central Division. All 3 teams, Tulsa, Minnesota, and Sioux Falls, came into this week with a 5-4 record. Tulsa on a 2-game skid got Minnesota and Sioux Falls right back in for the division hunt. And now Sioux Falls fires the first salvo to take the division lead, at least for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, and get this, tomorrow, Minnesota, first game of the docket, is going to play DC after beating Baltimore. That's going to be a tough battle for them.
You'd have to wonder, after beating one of the only 2 teams at that point to be undefeated, might be thinking that DC might be an easier team for the Sparrows to come in and maybe conquer on their last home game in this 4-game stretch for the Sparrows. But DC is a completely different team and a really good team in their own right, kind of like these Sparrows. The DC Dragons are built defensively.
Oh, absolutely, they're built defensively, and it's going to be a tough task for Minnesota. But if Sioux Falls can continue this way through the last 2 games of the season, they have a good case to take the division, no doubt.
And so with that final kneel down, that will do it. The Sioux Falls Sparrows will go to 6-4 and are firm control of their playoff hopes and dreams and maybe division title dreams. The Skyhawks, their season is on life support as they fall to 4-6. Final score, an awkward 14-7 in the most unconventional manner you'll ever see. And the Sparrows, go ahead, partner, the Sparrows come out away with this one with a 7-point win.
Yeah, who would have imagined the team with 14 points would have no offensive touchdowns? We're talking 4 field goals and a safety on one side, and just the lone touchdown coming in the 4th quarter on the other side. Just a weird game in terms of, numbers-wise, but if you just look at the whole scope of things, watching it entirely, you could just tell this was going to be a defensive battle from start to finish, and it really showed. You could just see from the yardage numbers on both sides heading into certain quarters. Carolina, 3 yards in the first quarter, 37 in the third quarter. Lowest number for Sioux Falls, 70 in the third quarter, and that was the time where it felt like Carolina was starting to turn the tide a little bit there. But Sioux Falls relied on that offense that has worked so well for them over the last couple games. Julian Tyree, 390 yards, almost 400 yards again in this game. Keep moving forward for this Sioux Falls squad, and just defensively stifling Matt South to 20 of 33, getting 4 sacks on him, and this one, the biggest sack of them all, to get that safety, to push that to an 11-7 game. Give them a little bit more breathing room. Just an all-out defensive effort from Sioux Falls tonight.
As we take a look at these highlights, partner, it becomes clear the defense was the players of the game for the Sparrows. On another nice interception to close out matters here. Your player of the game quickly, and why?
There's got to be someone from the defensive line because they gave Matt South such a hard time. I'm going to say Mike Wagner, but nope.
They go with Julian Tyree, 37 of 53 for 379 yards. No touchdowns, but crucially, not a whole lot of matters to do in the interception carry. Just one tonight, and a couple of rushing yards as well. For all of us here in Liberty Park, for Justin Reside, Nelson Lozano in the stats truck, for the Commissioner Cameron Irvine, and for my partner, Brett Solberg, I've been Tyler Falk. We'll see you the rest of this weekend, and until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-do.